Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. We're excited that you've joined us as we have a conversation.
All right, and we're back with another episode of Hardheaded. Today,
Episode 111.
111.
Trip 1.
Yay. Today we've got what's on.
Man, Matt is excited today. That's awesome.
We've got what's on Chet's mind. We've got Troy bringing us the good word, and our top three today is game winners you'd nail if you were subbed in.
The last shot, last kick.
That's interesting.
Last putt.
If you were going for it, which sport would you
don't
have
get
the most?
subbed in golf. I hope that's not in your top three. Did I just ruin it?
If you were playing,
No.
If you were playing doubles
In golf?
and you had to make this shot to win the tournament.
All right. Okay.
If you were going to go golf, none of mine would be.
I'm not reliable when it comes to
You're
golf.
not going to sub me in for that.
No.
Tiger Woods isn't going to go, hey, you're in.
Hey, bring in Matt.
I'm going to be honest. No professional is going to call any one of us
What would be the
to sub in for him. So just
like
saying,
the sign to the bullpen to bring Matt out? Would it be like
Yep.
blow the knee.
Bring the guy.
That's too funny.
But we're going to start with what's on Chet's mind before we get off on a tangent.
Our kids are under attack. Our children.
I would agree.
It's I'm appalled, and I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that we're not talking enough about. I don't know what to do about it just yet. I got some ideas. But if you just sit back in the last 2 years, let's not go back any further than that. In the last 2 years, these trans drag shows that they're putting on for kids, they're inviting kids to bars to go to these trans shows. They're bringing them to
Libraries.
They're that's one thing that is just overtly targeting our children with confusion, and we can talk about, which I don't intend to, just that culture in general and them doing what they want to do versus them bringing our kids into it. And that's kind of what I'm talking about today is why are they targeting children intently? Like, it is 100% intentional. That, and then you get, so there's that community that's going crazy on our children for that. Like, we need to expose them at a very young age to question sexuality and to see genitalia hanging out of leotards at a gay bar or at a library. And then you've got Ghislaine Maxwell's list of clients that were participated in human trafficking, sex with minors, that the legal system's doing nothing with. That we're just going to let that slide. That's okay, because they're probably powerful people, and powerful people can do whatever they want with our children. That's going on. And then you look at Balenciaga, this fashion company. Did you know this happened around Thanksgiving? You heard about this at all?
No.
So they have this. It's high end. I didn't know about them. Like I'm give me some Cabela's gear, some Redhead from Bass Pro. So I don't know this Balenciaga business, but this is like the Kardashian high fashion type stuff. Well, they have this ad that comes out with little kids, holding teddy bears wearing BDSM whips and chains and all this stuff. And then in the picture, the way everything's laid out, there's a couple things that are just disgusting, multiple pictures. But in one of them, there was like some papers on the table in the living room where this teddy bear was dressed up in this chains and ropes and leather stuff. And it was a Supreme Court case about John Ashcroft was the Attorney General back under Bush, I believe, and they went really far on censorship on the internet regarding child pornography, and there was a Supreme Court case that actually loosened some of the definitions that were in the law, and they had like the cover, if you were to print the decision out, Ashcroft versus whatever, and it goes in and opens that up a little bit where they can do a little bit more risque stuff and not be considered child porn on the internet. It was in the picture. So they're advertising themselves, Balenciaga, with overt child porn imagery and referencing in the picture had the Supreme Court case that kind of laxed some of the rules around it in the ad. So if you think about Hollywood and any major event, let's talk about what happened when with the George Floyd thing. And I'm not saying any of these things are bad things, but George Floyd, everybody got on social media and said what? I can't breathe, right? In solidarity with whatever. The France, they attacked the journalists in France. And it's all, I stand with whatever that media company was. And they're putting French flags all over their Facebook, pictures and all this kind of stuff. Russia invades Ukraine. Everybody's starting to put Ukrainian flags on their social media stuff. It's a big deal. This other thing happens. Well, I'm going to put my profile picture is just going to be a black screen because I'm standing in solidarity with this.
Let's go, Brandon.
This blows up. Yeah, let's go, Brandon.
That was another one.
This blows up. Like everybody's like, hey, Balenciaga is just straight up overtly saying they support child porn. Nothing. Crickets. No celebrities.
Crickets.
No social media posts. No, I'm distancing myself from this. You look at, and I think we'll have to do some more research on this, but I'm pretty sure Balenciaga is tied to Adidas somehow. Kanye West goes out there and says something that's pro-Germany, pro-Hitler. Adidas is like, he's done. It's over.
They froze his account
Immediately. Like, this is done. And then this child pornography stuff happens. Nothing. We're quiet. We don't care. Somebody called out Kim Kardashian because Kim Kardashian is one of the first people to jump on all this social justice stuff and be like, I can't believe this. George Floyd, support that. I do this. I support this. Ukraine, this. You got 6 days. And then somebody calling her out on social media for not commenting on this. She finally 6 days later comes back and that viral, the somebody saying, hey, Kim Kardashian, this is a social issue, the only social issue you've never spoken up with, and you wear Balenciaga stuff to everything. She's like, well, I'm evaluating my relationship with them in response to a viral calling her out. Then nothing. Like, I'm going to evaluate my relationship as like,
I'm going to keep wearing their stuff as long as they keep paying me to do it.
Yeah. I don't care about child pornography. I don't care about the exploitation of minors. That doesn't bother me. Go ahead and do it. I'm supporting it. As long as I get something from it. I'm not going to do this if so-and-so, I'm not going to go visit Missouri if all this stuff is going on with George Floyd, or I'm not going to go do, but child porn. Yeah, let's do it. That's okay. I'll say something. I'll put something out in the press that says, I'm not really sure about this. Somebody needs to be held accountable, but I'm going to evaluate my relationship and hopefully the right steps will be taken. Nobody says that about anything these days. It's all shut it down. I'm done. I'm moving on until it comes to our children. And then everybody's like, oh, I'm just going to be quiet about this. Oh, it's going to be okay that they traffic underage girls to have sex with politicians. We're just not going to prosecute anybody on that list. We're not even going to let the list be known because then we'd have to be held accountable to doing something about it.
Well, and what was that guy that had the island, Epstein?
Yeah, this is Ghislaine Maxwell was his right-hand person that set all this up.
Okay,
and she got convicted for trafficking minors.
Yeah, because you called out when Tom Hanks was on that list.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other people. No, on the flight logs, not on the list of clients.
Okay, flight logs.
Yeah.
little gray there.
Don't draw conclusions because people are flying out to a minor sex island. Troy. There's actually a list of like who they were with and all that kind of stuff. Apparently,
I got my jump to conclusions map game that I play every once in a while.
Office Space. So all this is going on. Kirk Cameron writes a book, a children's book, that talks about being strong and growing in Christ, and it kind of uses a tree, how a tree grows with roots and all this stuff.
I bet he got blasted for it.
He was denied.
He was denied the opportunity to read that in a public library.
I almost cussed out loud right now. That is so.
So, but that's the.
But you can have half naked men dressed up as women go in there talking to our kids.
Not talk to them, dance for them.
Dance and shake their.
Yes, their junk.
I'm angry.
In their faces.
I want to cuss right now.
But this is the society that we're in right now. So, we go back to last week with my good word on being alert, being strong, being courageous. Kirk Cameron was like, "This is bull,
BS.
I can't believe, So then people started to speak up, not just Kurt. Other people started to speak up locally. And when we go back 2 good words ago, when Matt was like, be engaged locally, the people that lived in that community that go visit that library were like, no, he's going to come here. Like we would attend this. This is a good thing. They ended up letting him come. Thousands of people like packed the whole place out to hear him read his book.
That was here in Wichita?
No.
Oh.
No. Just in his place.
Oh, okay.
So, I think we are, and I don't know exactly how, other than like this Kirk Cameron business and the people in the communities that could stand up to impact their community. We're at a point where we can't be quiet about it anymore. Like at some point, if we're going to let all this go around us, and not do anything about it, we're going to ultimately be responsible for it.
You have to be engaged.
Yeah, this is it's getting bad that this stuff is going on and it's happening all around us. It's not covert anymore. I know this stuff has happened since people have been around. I mean, heck, you want to go back to the times of the flood, how people are behaving in a way that God's like, yeah, we're going to wipe this thing out with water.
Right.
I know that worse things and bad things like this were going on back then. So it's not like this is all brand new. But for this to be openly celebrated in our culture today.
But that's how it was back then, and it's coming around.
We would assume so.
Again.
Right? We would assume so.
Well, I mean, it was written.
History repeats itself.
But for the fact that some people are blatantly living this life and pushing this, actively pushing this on our children, and meeting no resistance is not sitting well with me.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So I am not using this episode to talk about lifestyle decisions that people are making. I'm using this episode to say, stay away from the kids. Like that's not okay. We shouldn't have kindergarten teachers taking 5-year-olds to see anybody dance seductively. I don't care who you are. Straight, gay, trans, whatever. That shouldn't happen. No matter who you are.
I
but
agree.
The fact that there's specific communities that are actively pursuing this to get our children engaged in it is disgusting. And in a kind way, not an Escobar way,
I was going to say, we need another Pablo.
We gotta just not tolerate it. Like it's not okay. And if that means showing up for the good things, we need to show up for the good things. Like if some Christian author is going to be at your local library to read a book, a children's book,
go.
Show up, advertise for that thing, be there with your kids, support it. There's nothing that's going to come out of all this positive for our children at all. The sexualization of our kids. It's not good for them. People are doing it for selfish reasons, and it ain't for the benefit of the kid.
No. Wow.
So that's what's been on my mind.
Well, thanks for bringing that to light, because, yeah, I don't follow local. I don't follow news in general. I get my news from the Hardheaded podcast. So.
Which is sad.
Well,
yeah. It's because
we suck.
It's kind of funny though. I'm the same way. So
I get so amped up and angry at the news, like I have a hard time controlling my emotions.
But going back to what you said about 23 for you, this is don't get just negative on all the bad things that are going on. Find something good that you can go do. Right. So be positive in hey, I'm going to go support this, and I'm going to put my kids in this environment, and we're going to make this popular, and we're going to make people want to do things like this. I look at the TV series The Chosen. Like, that's popular. That's so popular that other secular TV companies are like, man, we got to get some kind of thing going on about Jesus right now because people are engaged in that.
Right.
So I think we need to be driving that positivity.
What's funny about that to me though is one of the most popular shows out there, and they released the first two episodes in theater, and they outplayed every other movie that was in the theater at the time.
Yeah. So season 3, episode 1 and 2 of The Chosen.
Yeah. And then, fast forward, and it's one of the most watched series. I mean, even Netflix picked it up, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
And then of course they have their own app that they release everything on and all that. But it just goes to show the polarity that this is not a war of the flesh. It's a battle of good and evil, 100%, because you have that side that's promoting all that, and they're pushing it. I mean, I heard about the Balenciaga thing, and then the Maxwell and Epstein and all of that. The trans shows where they're what is the ultimate goal of that? It's to destroy your kid. I mean, that's what it's there for. And so you've got literally a battle of good and evil that you can see just right there in society. If you take a step back and look at everything overall, you've got two opposing forces, and just pick the right side.
And so when you say destroy your kid and it's going after your kids, which I agree with you in saying that their agenda is to make their lifestyles mainstream,
to make it the norm,
to where the kids can grow up saying, oh, well, that's just normal. Those people are like that. And, ooh, I might want to be like that too.
I wouldn't stop short. You're stopping short.
Well, no, yeah, feed into it.
It is now inappropriate in our culture to call someone a pedophile. They're supposed to be referred to as minor attracted people.
MAPS.
That is
because I think what's going on now, in language matters. And if you want to look at this most recent bill that was passed that codifies homosexual marriage, so I didn't plan on going down this road. The Roe v. Wade was a court decision, and it said we can't, you could have abortions, and a lot of the focus of the pro-life movement was we got to get this court decision overturned. It hasn't been, we need to make laws on the books that prevent abortion, because there's been this, it's the Supreme Court said it's okay, so we can't do anything about it. Well, the Supreme Court also said that gay marriage is okay, but what if that decision got overturned? Well, then, so those activists said, well, we need laws that say that it's okay, not just a Supreme Court decision. That way the Supreme Court can't overturn their decision. They would actually have to approach the law, which there wasn't a law that said it was okay federally. So most recently, the Biden administration got behind legislation that passed that said legally, there's a law now that says you cannot prevent same-sex marriage anywhere in the country. Used to, it was left up to the states.
Right.
all the language that they used, and agree or disagree, whatever. I'm not about that. But the language that was used when Biden, Harris, Pelosi, Schumer, everybody was talking about celebrating that it got passed was there's no way the government should prevent you from being with the person that you love. Love, 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 love. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, mark it down, that love movement is going to be, you shouldn't be able to prevent me from being with who I love, even if that person is a 9-year-old boy. This is where they're headed. Mm. Like, you can't, love conquers all. Love is the most important. The government can't stop you from being with you love. Why else would you go from this person is a pedophile that preys on young children to this is a person that's attracted to minors? And if that minor loves that uncle so-and-so, and that uncle loves that minor, then they ought to be together. There shouldn't be a law against that either. There should be no laws against love. Like that's exactly the terminology that they were using. No laws against love. Love conquers. Love is everything. So they're going down this path where the government's going to say, well, if you love somebody, you ought to be able to be with them, regardless of their age, their gender, their sex, whatever else. It's just all free to do whatever you want to do with whoever you want to do it with, regardless of their age. That's exactly where they're headed with this. And I have seen no evidence to the contrary, and nobody's getting out in front of it. It seems like to me. So
I'll tell you who's out in front of it. Those powerful people on that island.
No, they're guiding us down that path.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So they're infiltrating the government to make these decisions, so they're out ahead of themselves, so they can't be in trouble.
Oh, they're not doing it to protect themselves. They're doing it because they want to live in a society where they can do whatever they want with whomever they want.
Right. Without
which they were able to do that, and there are no repercussions for it.
Right. But if the law had come down and the verbiage was different, they could be held accountable for that. But if it changes,
no, that's where your pipe dream of what held accountable is. Nobody's being held accountable for that.
But that's what I mean. If the administration changed,
no, they're still not going. I'm telling you, nothing's going to happen with Epstein. What I'm saying,
he's
though,
dead. But
I mean everybody associated with it.
God took care of that one.
I'm not talking about him personally. I'm just saying the Epstein saga. Nothing's going to happen. What I'm saying is they want those people that do that stuff that are in politics want the law to reflect their morals, and their morals are be with whoever you want, no matter how old they are.
Well, there are none.
Right. Unless you disagree with me, and then morally you're
well,
incorrect.
and then
we can hate you. That's hate speech.
And then
you can attack people that are hateful.
And then they have the moral high ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Air quotes.
So I'm just it's permeating, it's boiling, this has been sticking with me for a couple months now that we're in a bad place, and we need some good people to step up and do good things. And
so do you support the good, and you don't go running out picketing the drag shows and all that stuff? You just support the good, right?
I think you can picket in a good way.
Do whatever God's calling you to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do along those lines. I could tell you this. I brought up abortion earlier, so let's go back to that. There is no other people group more than Christians that adopt kids. There is no other people group that provides.
There's also no
alternative health options for pregnant women that are considering an abortion than believers. There is a support network that's out there for crisis pregnancy centers that didn't exist before Roe v. Wade that I'm aware of. So there are positive alternatives that have been developed around that. Not just the picketing in front of an abortion clinic, which I drove by when I worked at People's. I drove by Planned Parenthood on my way home every day. And about 50% of the time, somebody's there with a picture of an aborted fetus on the side of a box truck that is disturbing. But it's truthful. This is what it looks like after an abortion procedure for the baby that was in your womb. I don't think that's hateful. And I don't think what I saw from the people there, it's typically retired folks that look very pleasant, that probably would offer to pray with anybody about to walk in there. So I think we have a model that's been set up to say we're going to support and we're going to engage and we're going to do it in a positive way, that we ought to be looking at countering the movement that's going on attacking our kids right now.
And my 2 cents, God didn't call us to be pacifists either.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And the way he did it, the way Jesus did it while he was on earth, is approach the people. He didn't go to the government to fix all this stuff. He had dinner with tax collectors and sinners. And
again, and that goes back to my good word, be engaged with your local community.
Yeah. Not just sit in the church and talk about how bad everything is outside the church. Go out there and
fix it.
Get involved.
Yeah.
Know people, learn names, remember people's names.
And if you don't, refer back to a previous episode to learn how to overcome if you forget somebody's name.
Oh man. Anyway.
That's good. It's good eye opener, good news report there.
And I don't know if I'll be able to put any of the words that I used today in the show notes, or else our episode may get banned. Who knows?
Well, it searches audio for, anyway, so we'll probably get flagged.
Let's do it.
Get flagged every week. I mean, whatever.
Who cares?
All right.
We'll just go to Rumble again.
All right. Thanks, Chet, for the what's on your mind. I guess that wasn't a good word.
No.
But, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with our top 3.
Are you driving traffic to your website? Do you have an engaging homepage? Better yet, does your homepage have a video? We recently created a video for a client about his business and the services they provide. Since he placed the video on the homepage of their website, he has had a number of clients specifically say they decided to use his services because of that video. At Trussell Media, we help businesses create engaging videos to host on their websites, email to clients, and use in their social media marketing. Contact us if you're interested in creating a video for your homepage today. TrussellMedia.com. Fill out the form at TrussellMedia.com/contact. Let us help you tell your story through video.
All right, and we're back with the top 3 game winners you'd nail if you were subbed in or afforded the opportunity for that last shot.
I like the phrase afforded the opportunity. That's a good phrase.
Thanks, Chet. Well, we'll start with Troy.
All right, so number 3, it would have to be when I was in 8th grade, though.
What? Okay. All right. I'm going in the past now, too.
Basketball.
Yeah?
In the 8th grade, I was a pretty good basketball player and would ask for the ball.
Everybody in the 8th grade asked for the ball.
On the game-winning shot.
Everybody in the 8th grade asked for the ball all the time.
Have you seen Hoosiers?
Huh?
I mean, that was high school.
Yeah, they're not in the 8th grade. 8th graders, 100% of the 8th graders think they're the Michael Jordan of the school.
No, not on this team.
Okay.
Not on this
Continue.
team.
This is your top 3. Don't let Chet ruin it.
Yeah. So
it's rent.
8th grade basketball. Okay, Broughton. That sounded like Broughton.
It's just Louisiana.
Shout out, Broughton. Number 2, croquet.
What?
I will smoke you in some croquet.
Have you ever been in a tournament?
No.
I have. So bring it.
Well, I will.
Need to get a set and set it up in here.
Let's do it. It's big enough.
I hadn't played in. It's been a couple years.
So what would a game-winning shot in croquet look like?
I don't know. You got to get it through the final.
The final. How
final
many?
hoop.
2 hoops. There are 2 hoops really close together, and then you got to hit the stick. So, man, I'm telling you. Yeah. I'd take you on that one.
And number 1, darts.
Ooh. You got me on that.
Yeah, just a dartboard and some darts.
What are you playing?
Usually play cricket.
Cricket?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that was a thing. What did you play? Dart? I just said darts.
Well, cricket, you hit 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, and bullseye. You have to hit
3 of each.
3 of each, yeah.
See,
And then you can
Double, triple.
y'all would smoke.
Well,
me.
you can point people too. If you have 20s closed out, Matt doesn't have 20s closed out, and I hit a trip 20, then he
60
gets
points.
60 points on him.
Yeah.
And he's got to catch up to that. So now he has to hit 6 20s to catch up with me. That's how that rolls. I love darts.
Here's pictures of a croquet tournament I was in.
Oh, nice. What are y'all wearing?
You had to dress in white.
Is this real?
Yeah.
Where is this? North Carolina?
No, that's in
Epstein Island.
the Arboretum down
Oh, that was a good one. Wow. I need to check the flight logs for Chet Sears.
Look at
They caught me.
we got judge.
Oh my
judges
gosh.
stands.
Send me those. I got to put these on YouTube. This is hilarious.
That's a legit deal.
It's like a futuristic or a heavenly scene, like Happy Gilmore. Remember when they were talking about their oh wow. You know when he's like in heaven and the little guy that's riding the little toy horse and they're all
Chubbs
dressed
there.
Yeah, they're all dressed in white.
That's a fundraiser for the Bartlett Arboretum down
man.
in Mulvane.
Oh, that was here?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It's a Kansas thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Good for you. And you throw right-handed, right?
No, I throw
you
left-handed.
left-handed. You bat. You golf right-handed.
I golf and bat right-handed because my dad wanted me to be a right-hander.
Yeah. Okay.
For
Kind of weird. I
reason.
shoot a basketball left-handed. I throw a baseball and football right.
That's weird.
That is weird.
And I can throw darts either.
No way.
I could throw darts either, but I'm better left-handed.
See, when I was throwing a football, because I could throw a football either hand, I don't know what it is about. I can't shoot a basketball right-handed at all. Left-handed is it. Football, I'm really accurate with my right, but I can throw or with my left, I'm really far with my right. Used to, anyway.
Yeah.
Helps to have legs to
It's true.
really propel that ball.
All right. Who's
Yeah.
next?
Matt.
Oh, I'm totally unprepared.
Imagine that.
Number 3, basketball. And it would be the final, like I'm on the foul line
Yep.
and I'm shooting free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Back in high school, I mean, I could drain those free throws. And even today when we're playing out on the court at the house, and I got my daughter, and she's shooting hoops or whatever, I'm just like, hey, give me the rock. And I can still pretty consistently hit. And I think it's kind of the same thing with my golf game. I don't move my feet. I don't move my legs. It's all upper body. So there's not a whole lot of movement when I shoot, so I can replicate every single time what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me more consistent. So it takes a little bit more energy to get the free throws there. I can't shoot, 200 a night like I used to do, but I can do, 25 and still come out better than average.
Yeah.
Number 2, that's a tough one. Darts is a good one. I didn't think about darts. But it would have to be an iron from 125 yards.
Okay.
The actual shot.
Yeah. I was about to criticize you, but it's the same thing as a free throw. It's like a set shot, like a specific shot.
Yeah, it's like this is the ball's here. You've got
15 feet. Yeah.
you've got 125 yards
Yeah.
to land it next to the pin for an easy putt in. I don't want to take that putt. I'll let my teammate who I'm playing doubles with take that putt. But I will take that 125 because I have the perfect club to hit that shot. And as long as I pay attention and take my time and align my feet, I'm going to hit that 125 right there every single time. Don't know what it is. That's the best club in my bag is 125. Anything 100 and under, don't have that club.
What do you hit at 125? Pitching wedge or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's exactly 125. Full swing.
Yeah, I don't have I have like a 140. I don't have a 125. I have an 80 and a 140. There's a big gap in there that I'm not consistent on.
And then number one, and I would have to go back to a time when I had legs, and this would be any time that I had legs. A penalty kick.
I already wrote it down. I wrote it down before you even said it.
And I don't know. I had a lot of power and a lot of speed behind the ball, and then watching this last World Cup, and I think it was a record number of games that actually went to penalty shots, and watching some of the changes to how these people do their run up and trying to throw the goalie off and all of that. I never had to do that because I got in their head during the game, and so when I came up to kick, I'd already won. And
what do you mean got in their head?
Because I was a very physical player.
But you can't physically hurt the goalie on a penalty kick.
Not on a penalty kick, but
unless you're Sterling Archer. Remember that? Remember that?
Yes,
skit?
I do. Yeah, very well.
You know what I'm talking about? We'll show you after the episode.
But very aggressive, fast, and every shot on goal was hard. And for me, it was easy to read what the goalie wanted to do.
I mean, is it not physically impossible? Is it physically impossible for a goalie to get to the post before a ball does?
No.
Like if you're kicking a penalty kick,
so
and you squeeze that thing in within a ball width of the post, there's no way a goalie's getting there.
Goalie just has to pick, like, I'm going to jump this way.
No, but even if they did and you were squeezing it in by the post, they couldn't get that far.
Well, if you go low, they can. It's that upper 90 that's harder for them to get to. So that's typically kind of where you want to aim for. But some of these taller goalies, I mean, they're not like when I was playing. Soccer was pretty much a short man's game, and me being 6 foot, I was one of the tallest guys out there. But these goalies that they're playing professionally, I mean, those guys are like 6'6", 6'7", and they can move like they're quick for being that tall.
My nephew Lane did that for his high school. Walk off, penalty kick, won the game. It was awesome. I saw it on video.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
See, now basketball, I've never. I don't recall a game-winning shot, but I remember game-winning blocks to where they were going up and it was almost a gimme and then rejected. But I don't know that I ever hit a game-winning shot.
No, it wasn't close when I played. We just blew every team out. I'm kidding.
We weren't like that.
Well, I said,
nor were we.
Heck, I said 8th grade because once I got to high school, because I went to a private school, middle school, and then went to a public high school, and the athleticism would just increased 100%. I was not as good as I was, or I thought I was, in 8th grade.
Yeah, everybody in 8th grade thinks they're the Jordan of the school.
See,
well, especially in the private school league.
And I can't remember. I think
that's funny.
Because I think I started basketball in 6th grade, and you played on the 8.5.
We played 10 foot on all middle school. Was 10 foot for us. Maybe in Kansas they lower it.
Lower standards.
But it was
lower standards in sports, higher standards academically.
But it was
Louisiana.
Lower standard, yeah, exactly.
But it was pretty funny because I was tall and I was the only kid that could stand there, and I always played center, which came back to bite me when I got to high school because I'd always played center, and I really didn't establish any real dribbling skills or anything like that, and that's something I really had to work on when I got to high school because everybody kind of caught up to me in height. And but I could stand there and grab the bottom of the net, and everybody just thought that was the coolest thing because and that was an intimidation factor for opposing teams. And And I guess my one claim to fame in high school was our starting center was on the varsity was 6'6", and I was only 6 foot. He started the game, and then I ended up I got subbed in to give him a break, and I ended up staying in for a majority of the rest of the game because I got more rebounds and scored more points than he was able to because I was just more physical, able to block people out.
That's some of the big guys have a hard transition to be physical because, like in middle school, if you're the big guy,
they're taught, not,
yeah, you're getting a foul every time you post up against somebody hard, and then you get into high school and that's what you have to do, and they're not used to doing it. Yeah,
and that may have been what held him back a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I walked into the first basketball high school practice, saw the older guys dunking, and I was like, "Yep, I'm not going to be very good."
I'm out.
I don't think this is going to last long.
See you guys later.
Played baseball, though, so.
Troy, a dunk's only worth 2 points, man.
It's true.
All right, Chet.
All right, number 3, catching a pass in football, flag football specifically, because I didn't play high school. We didn't have high school football at my high school. But we had a bread and butter play for my intramural flag football team, which would go deep into the playoffs every year. And it was basically just Chet, go out there. I was the center, and the center is an eligible receiver, by the way. But you had 2 blockers that couldn't receive. So I could go out and basically run across, and they throw it real high and catch it. And when it came down to this specific scenario, we have to have a touchdown to win to go further into the playoffs where, the clock's is the last play. I don't know if his clock was expiring or it was 4th down or whatever, but you got to catch it. It's got to be in the end zone. Hopefully you can draw a foul, but basically, Chet, you're going to go over there and we're going to throw it really high, and hopefully you can get to it before anybody else. And it was hilarious because everybody just started laughing right after it happened too. His buddy of mine, Matt, was a quarterback. He rolls around, throws it. I go up, and people are hanging on me. Like some dude had his hands around my waist. I'm trying to jump. Another dude draped over my shoulder, and I go up 2 hands, and I yell while I'm catching the ball, "Throw the flag!" And I caught the ball and scored a touchdown. But I was officiating the game while I was playing the game.
Calling your penalty out. I like that.
But they're all, when I came down and they caught it, they called a touchdown, and everybody's like, "You yelled out, throw the flag," while you're catching the ball. So that one. Number 2, and this kind of goes back to Juan Gonzalez winning the World Series with a walk-off base hit. If you needed a base hit, I could get you a base hit. I was not going to necessarily hit one out of the park, home run wise, but if you needed somebody on base, I could get on base. And normally that was a bloop over second baseman's head, drop it right in there in front of the right fielder, which happened to be the worst, fielding and throwing person on the team. They normally put in right field. I could poke a ball out there, and I would do that.
Hey, you remember that time you asked me to come play softball for your team? You remember that?
Was it work team or church team?
I think it was a church team.
Okay. With Broughton.
Yeah. It was in Shreveport.
Yeah.
You were like, "Hey, man, we need a guy."
Did we almost get in a fight that game?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But I think your thoughts were like, "Hey, yeah, my brother-in-law used to play baseball.
High school baseball.
He'll be pretty good."
Yeah.
Yeah. Whiffed twice. And I think 1 or 2 balls went over my head in left field because I charged them and was like, oh crap.
I don't remember this.
I just remember coming home going,
my brother-in-law just asked me to come play softball, and I embarrassed myself.
Yeah, I forgot
all of that.
Yeah, I think I told my mom, I don't think Chet likes me anymore.
I'm a disappointment.
I'm a disappointment to
I
the
was on
family.
a softball team with Broughton. It's okay. You did just fine.
I was so embarrassed, man, because you have to. I can't remember how I hit 2 fouls, and then the last one looked at it.
Yeah,
and they call it. How do you
Strike.
look at a ball in softball and strike out? I don't know. I did it. It was terrible.
You can swing at just about anything.
Yeah.
Number 1, I did pitch a 2-hit shutout in slow pitch softball.
Nice.
I had I was a good slow pitch softball pitcher back in my day. The number one would be free throws in a basketball game. I still, to this day, it was a couple months ago, Stone invited me to come play with some of his high school friends. I almost couldn't walk afterwards, but, we're getting up there, you shoot around a little bit, get warmed up, and they're like, okay, we're going to shoot for teams. And from the free throw line, I walk up to that free throw line to this day, 100% confident I'm going to make that shot. I don't want to always make it today, but back in the day, I had a lot of confidence. And then you talk about the driveway basketball, like that was all the pressure on the line. I always thought about that. Like that's the shot, the free throw shot. That was it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then that was seniors. Like anytime we ended practice, we had to run like 5 suicides or whatever. And
I got us out of so many of those by shooting free throws.
Well, you had to run 5, and then it's seniors to the line. And then if all the seniors made their free throws, then practice is over. If one of the seniors missed, back to the line, we're running again until all the seniors can make it. So it was pretty good. My senior year is only one other senior, so there's just 2 of us. And the other guy, the other senior, was our best player. He's really good. All right.
Cool, man.
All right, good top 3. Moving on to a good word. Troy, what do you got?
All right. So I know I talked about Sabbath a few weeks ago, month or 2 ago. I don't know. But yeah, I want to kind of retouch on the Sabbath. Like I said before, we did a 4-week study on it at church, so it's just really been on my mind. And I've been trying to practice it once a week, which has really been helpful, not kind of over the past year gotten out of the wedding industry, so I'm not working on Saturdays. So it kind of makes it easier.
Trussell Media got out of the wedding industry? Or Troy shooting wedding videos got out of the
Troy shooting wedding videos every Saturday got out, but Trussell Media still does.
Okay. So if you're interested in having a wedding video, go to trussellmedia.com.
Yeah, and book your spot today.
You just probably won't see Troy.
Well, you can ask for me to be there.
An employee. It's expensive. It's really expensive.
Really expensive to have Troy there.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, thanks though. That's a good little
plug.
Yeah. So the Sabbath, it's a command from the Old Testament. In Exodus 28-10, it's one of the 10 commandments. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant, female, livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. So no work. I have on Saturdays, those have been my Sabbath days. And it's where I just completely unplug from work. Like in my work is this in the studio, it's going on video shoots, it's editing, it's answering emails, it's all of the things I have to do with Trussell Media. I completely unplug from it and get away from it. And I have been, for a few months now. Not 100% every time. I'm not perfect at it yet, but getting there. And I can tell, I look forward to that day when I'm doing it and I'm resting just away from it, spending more time with the family. My mind is right about that. And in that, trying to focus on what the Lord has for me. And in doing that, so I kind of jotted this down today. The Sabbath is being in God's presence and resting, relying on God to strengthen your mind, body, and soul, and taking comfort in the fact that He alone provides for all of your needs. Basically, no matter what you do, He is your provider. It's also can be looked at as a taste of heaven on earth. In heaven, we will forever be in God's presence. In the Sabbath, if we Sabbath, we can have a small taste of heaven here now on earth if we take the time to practice the Sabbath and being in His presence. So not just unplugging from work, which that's helps me rest, but being in tune with being in God's presence, which we always are We just might not be connected to it, mind, body, spirit, right?
Yeah, and if you think about, oh, that's nice, Troy, but you don't understand how busy I am. You just read from the 10 Commandments. Like,
Right.
don't murder, don't steal, and practice Sabbath. So pretty important. It was one of the 10.
And honor your mother and father.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then speaking to the busyness, right? I always used to think that way. Like, right, I don't have time. I got to answer this email, or I got to get this edit done. My client can't wait. They need to have this like right now. When truth is, yeah, they can't wait. It's important for me to rest so I can give my time to the Lord, my time with my family, and then give my client a restful, 100% for the next week.
Yeah.
Right. Because if I'm not resting, I'm going to get burnt out. So it's important to rest. God rested on the seventh day as an example to us to rest. All the laws in the Old Testament around Sabbath and around rest were so that the ground could heal, the crops could be able to flourish with the ground healing every 7 years, and just many different things about the Sabbath in the Old Testament.
Some people I know actually do their resting while they're at work.
I have like 6 Sabbaths a week.
Nice. Now, in a study that I've been going through that I mentioned last time, it's like they have a daily Sabbath little devotional reading. That's the word I'm looking for, devotional, that you can do. And I've been doing those, not consistently. I do it Monday through Friday in my car. I think I spoke on that last time, but it's like 30 seconds, you're just quiet, and then you do the devotional, and you have another 30 seconds to 2 minutes of quiet after that, to where you're just in God's presence. You're recognizing, hey, God is with me. Here I am. I'm here for you. That kind of thing. It kind of gets your mind in the right, way of thinking. So, and then, for the busy person, I was reading this on November 29th. This is that book by Timothy Keller, The Songs of Jesus, where he goes through the Psalms. And Psalm 127 says, unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sheep. And so that last line right there, he gives to his beloved sheep. And I thought Tim Keller put it really well in here. He said, prosperity and security are not ultimately your accomplishments, but God's gifts. So the things that you do and the things that you are acquiring that you think are done on your effort, it's not your effort, it's God's gift to you. I think we do have to put in the effort to get the gifts.
Yeah. But he's in control.
But he is in control of it all. And so overwork, worry, and strain are foolish and wrong. But thriving, that goes in 3 and 5, so I won't go to that. But overwork, all that stuff is stressful and foolish. So just realize that, and that is kind of the struggle that I have. But I've gotten more in tune with it lately is, if I don't work hard, I'm not going to be rewarded, but it's not a reward structure. It's an obedience structure.
There's a lot of people that work hard that aren't successful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And heck, I could put myself in that category.
Yeah.
If you looked at how hard I work versus my finances, some might be able to say that. But just getting all this balanced out and everything has been really helpful for me over the past year. So, So the good word is Sabbath. Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.